And the first stop of this Season 12 of the Intel Extreme Masters is set in quite the idyllic landscape here, the beautiful Sydney. But the harsh reality is this. Only 4 teams will be able to graduate from studio play here to make it into the Kudos Bank Arena. 4 teams will go home before them, and we've already sent 1 team out of the tournament. Vici Gaming have fallen 0-3 in the Swiss stage. They will be headed back to China without a chance to prove themselves in the arena. But we move on. We must. OpTic Gaming versus Chiefs now as well. Both teams, gentlemen, at 1-1. Of course, I'm here on the desk with Sniper and with YNK. 2 teams, I mean, that we looked at OpTic and said they were an outside chance to definitely break into that top 4, notwithstanding, some mistakes, of course, from the other high-flying teams. And Chiefs gave us 2 very polarizing performances. Let's start with OpTic at least and discuss that, because it was a very tumultuous start to the group stage for them up against North on Inferno.
Absolutely. They had that triple overtime game, basically, where they had to claw their way back. They lost the first half 10-5. They were down, I think, 10-1 or 10-2, then down 13-5, and really did a great job after that initial struggle to claw their way back into the game. Tarek had an amazing game, has to be pointed out, because he hasn't really had that many standout performances. Usually when you look towards OpTic, you're looking at Mixwell, Naf, Rush, right? Those are the players who stand out with their individual play. So that may be a way in for OpTic. If Tarek can have a great tournament throughout, maybe they can upset a North or a FaZe.
All right, so it's safe to say that they've been doing okay so far with Hayes coming in. We talked about this as the trial coach that's sort of starting off his tenure in-game leading here. OpTic looked reasonably good in matches that they won yesterday, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, they even looked good against North, obviously getting into that overtime. So they're looking good across the board. They're dealing with teams like Vici without much of a problem at all.
Sure.
I mean, it wasn't as easy and clear-cut as the Renegades game, but the Renegades game was just back and forth. In the round, you thought the Vici had won it, and then they had let it go. So I think OpTic obviously looked a lot stronger. Coming into this, it's a pretty good matchup to have Chiefs up against OpTic. I think maybe you could say the #1 Australian team up against the best NA team. So it'll be a great showdown from across the pond. And yeah, I mean, Chiefs, they didn't do too well against Australis, possibly a bit starstruck, but they really came out all guns blazing against Renegades. A lot to prove, a lot of pride on the line. And I don't think this match changes anything. I think a win for Australia against NA is a big deal, and they'll be proud to do it if they can.
We've got our veto coming in now as well, just down at the bottom of the screen now. We do get Train to come out of this one here. We kind of know Yanko, it's a bit of a go-to for OpTic, and obviously Chiefs probably aren't too bothered to pick in that one after yesterday.
I'm a bit surprised by the vetoes from OpTic here. I mean, they've shown that they can play Inferno. They've shown before that they can play Cobblestone, and those were their first 2 vetoes. So I'm not sure if this is something that they did because of Chiefs, if these are like very comfortable maps for Chiefs. But in the end, they go to a map where we saw in the interview from Tux saying that actually they feel like Train is their best map, so I'm not really sure what's been going on there.
Well, maybe they've banned out Nuke because it's actually a really good map for Chiefs as well. A previous iteration of their lineup, of course, but they did reasonably well against Sean Gare's lineup in Echo Fox, which Nuke was like their best map, and they beat them at ESCA Global Finals last time. So maybe OpTic have done a bit of research, and Chiefs left that in there as a bit of a trap card, maybe going back to their strengths, which is something they didn't do.
I mean, I'm mostly surprised by Inferno, because OpTic had a great Inferno game, and Chiefs more or less got trounced by Astralis. So, like, why would you go for that veto and then let go Train? Which sure, OpTic is very comfortable. I mean, OpTic is still a huge favorite here, right? So, but when you just look at it, from a player's perspective, why would you want to go to a map where they just had a 15-0 CT half, right, where they're going to feel very, very confident?
It could be a case of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. They had all last night to prepare against Chiefs, seeing how they played against Renegades in an optimum environment, and perhaps they've got something up their sleeve to tackle that. But like you said, admittedly, this is the Chiefs' best map, and the only other option there was another map that was good for Chiefs as well. So, I mean, OpTic Gaming have got a pretty good map pool. They play just about every map except maybe Overpass, where they play it, but they don't play it well. And I don't know, maybe something. Train has got a pretty complex T side as well. So with Hayes coming in, it's going to be a bit of a tough ask, but we've got Mixwell and Tarek there with the firepower and Naf in those close range situations.
Yeah, that's my question, I guess, to follow up on that. Where are the openings or the opportunities for Chiefs here? Can you see any on paper, at least on the outside of it, now seeing what Chiefs showed against the Renegades earlier?
After watching the Vici game with OpTic, you could just see that the inside sight looked pretty weak sometimes, but apart from that, it's all about going to be the post plant, but it's going to come down to the Chiefs CT side. If they can do what they did against Renegades and get a really good CT side and shut down any aggression from OpTic, then that's where it's going to start, because as soon as OpTic get their tail up, or even whichever team gets their tail up first, you're going to see them run away with the match. I think it's going to be a bit of a slogfest, but you know, at the end of the day, OpTic have a lot more experience than Chiefs in this territory.
And also, I remember seeing OpTic play the new team in ECS, Bees Money Crew. They're called Ghosts now.
Yeah.
And OpTic just played a completely different style. It was trained 2 times against them. They were just being super aggressive on the T side, going for an outer rush, maybe even 3 gun rounds in a row, basically just wanting to exert dominance early on. So maybe OpTic feels like when they play an underdog, they have a very good way of actually, you know, just forcing their will upon them, so to speak, and just have a pretty dominant game all around.
Do you feel like we saw this forcing of will by Australis on the Chiefs at all? Or no, we saw them test the water a little bit. Did we really see them trying to really get up in their face?
No, not really. I mean, I saw a lot of weird stuff from Device, like trying to peek through smokes and uncharacteristic peeks from him. But across the board, it was just let the Chiefs do what they want to do, and we'll win regardless. When it comes to this match, on a similar level, I want to see if Chiefs are able to keep up that aggression that they had against Renegades. A lot of inside pushes, dry, with just trying to take fights in those box holes areas. So it's going to be whether or not Chiefs can just forget about who they're versing and worry more about their own game, just like they did against Renegades.
And you think that's an issue? You think that they were too worried about versing Australis?
Oh, yeah. They definitely didn't play themselves. Pretty much like Azza was just saying, they played like pussies, even against Australis, when you've really got to step up and make a mark for yourself.
All right. Well, gentlemen, any final comments on this one as well? Anything that we should be looking out for at home, or anything that defines perhaps this map between these two?
If I were Chiefs, I would just watch out for that early aggression. I think they need to find a way to cope with that. Obviously, as an underdog, they need to have a good start. They need to get some momentum going, because if things start going wrong, they don't have as deep of a playbook perhaps as OpTic has on this level to kind of combat them.
Yeah, I think it's really important that Chiefs, if they do win the pistol round, they've got to win the anti-ecos. Like against Australis getting ecoed, and it's a big problem for Australian teams, just those anti-ecos.
Why?
They don't have the structure. And
play
it takes,
like bloody kittens.
Got to play like if they play like kittens, they'll get smashed. You just got to have balls. You've got to get in there. You've got to do some fast strategies. Otherwise, the other team figures out what you're doing. There's 30 seconds left, and they just capitulate onto you, and you're up against it, because you let them get in close ranges with those pistols, and you're done for.
So why is it then, if Aussies are very bad against playing anti-eco, why then do they see more success? We talked about this yesterday briefly. Let's flesh it out. Why are their forces or their ecos actually more successful?
Because they have a lot less to lose. They look at it like, oh, we've only got pistols. We don't have a lot of utility. Let's just get out there and shoot the guys. And at the end of the day, that's how they got into this position. That's how they qualified. They shot a heap of Aussie dudes who might not have a lot of experience, a lot of international experience, or a deep map pool or anything like that. It really did just come down to being shot by the better players in Australia. So they just need to remember that, and they need to bring that into these games where, there's more than one way to play Counter-Strike. You can play the strategic game, which is what the top players do, because they've got the firepower to bring it. But otherwise, if you don't have the strategic game, you can just muscle your way in, especially against a team like OpTic.
Chiefs one knife.
Chiefs one knife as well,
That's a big deal.
They'll be choosing the side. We'll be heading in right about now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving us a prelude to this particular game. It's going to be Chiefs versus OpTic. It's not a do or die per se, but they'd love to go 2-1 up against this tour de force from the North American region. Let's see how it pans out. Of course, it's going to be Pansy and Moses once again.
Thank you very much, Mitch and the boys. And yeah, some lovely discussions on the desk.
No kittens in this game.
Yeah, absolutely not. I can't even make comments on this, can I?
No, you really can't.
No. My privilege doesn't stretch that far. But this is an interesting... What was that?
We had an empty setup, and we had
a
FaZe.
FaZe, yeah. I was like, that's Raiden there. It's not actually him, but right now it'll be OpTic on the T side, Chiefs on the CT side, and I think we haven't seen a middle ground from OpTic yet. They played an incredibly tough opponent and took it incredibly far, and they played, I guess you could argue, someone a little bit easier on a very good map for themselves, and they kind of took it by storm. So I don't think we've seen really the, I guess, testing point for OpTic yet. I think North was a great game for them, and it was a shame they didn't close it out, but this is going to be important for them.
Yeah, it will all depend. If we see that Chiefs that came out yesterday, then certainly there could be some struggle. I will say, Chad called this. Chad, as soon as that game ended last night between Chiefs and Renegades, he said they're going to fall into the trap because this is a very good map for OpTic, and he said because they've dominated Renegades so hard, Chiefs is going to want to play train, and OpTic is a completely different beast on it than Renegades.
So this is, I guess, a discussion point in a way that do you want to play to your opponent's strengths, even though it's a good map for you in theory?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's their philosophy is, yes, we're confident in it, we're going to keep picking it, and it seems like OpTic did do some of the homework as Sniper alluded to. There's some of that aggression that we saw yesterday. OpTic is prepared for it. They push him back, so no ability for Chiefs to kind of cheat any kind of rotate that rotates anywhere.
But it's nice though, Chiefs haven't given up much yet either. They pushed out for a little bit of info here and there, but they haven't actually died yet at all. Malta's got to be careful, he's got players just in front of him right now. Tarek right around the side of the electric box, but it will be Tux and Alistair to be keeping him safe. Finally he does fall, but so far it's an immovable object. And it all contains those Australian boys, but hazed! What is that? Lovely little shot towards Inns, and now left in the 1v2. Bomb's not quite to hand, but he's got 30 seconds. Not too much time to work with.
Yeah, and he had the utility, so he's got no armor as well, so that's going to be a real big pain if he gets in any gunfights. He would love to pick up a USP, but he's taking too much time clearing this out. He doesn't even have the bomb quite yet, so I think this round is kind of over. Although he's taking a little bit of a curious route. Might have been able to catch somebody off guard. 10 seconds left now. Chiefs doing a very smart job of not giving him any of these fights. And there it is. I think this is where he falls. Can he hit any of these shots? It's got to be a miracle. He can't even find that one. 4 seconds left on the clock. Alistair, all he had to do was basically run away. But a big round from Chiefs, landing some very, very nice shots.
If you're an underdog, you depend on every win factor you can get, whether it be momentum, whether it be a confidence boost, whether it be the first pistol. That is so imperative. And yeah, Hayes hitting some big shots there. Probably not the player you'd expect to be doing it, and we saw a couple of others actually stepping up pretty handily. It was, I think, Tarek before.
Yeah,
he was having the outstanding one.
Yanko talked about Tarek. He had a very, very good game yesterday. I think that was in the losing effort, though, against North, unfortunately.
I think it was, yeah. Bit of a shame, but still, nice damage early on. Tux there, going to control towards Pop, and that's Rush now gone. So, good beginning for Chiefs. And they just need to stabilize at this point.
One thing we saw yesterday also is, I mean, the Chiefs players were very, very happy to take duels at different places, especially down Ivy. That's pretty nice from Alistair there. Tux especially, that's somewhere that OpTic can really pick them off, and they've got one player low. That's Malta. Tarek's going to be the one to face him. The Shadow gives it away. One quick kill, can't get the next one. All on the scout of NAF, but they've done good damage. The bomb is far back, though. Another mistake, that same one that Renegades made, oddly enough, is leaving the bomb so far away.
It all comes back around, it feels. NAF, though...
He spotted him.
Yeah, I think he saw him walking out there. Now, to be fair, Inns is going all the way around, so NAF's not going to get much play to this. Inns is going to walk out from it.
Well, and with this kind of a play as well, he's going to find the bomb when he turns the corner over towards T mid. So then it's just going to be, all right, NAF, now you have to go find that bomb.
Really nice play so far, actually, from Chiefs. They're not just being static, they're being quite active and proactive in trying to find this. Maybe wondering why they hadn't seen anything, and now they're going to realize, all right, well, we've got the bomb.
That's a little bit of the funny part as well, though. If NAF had the bomb, that play, he could have at least gotten a plant out of this because the bomb site is completely open and he sees no one. At this point in the round, I mean, NAF is just going to save this scout, going to bring it into the next round.
Yeah, and I wonder how much, if Chiefs do get punished by that aggressive style that they brought into their previous game against Renegades. Now, it worked out against them, but taking fights against North American teams, now, it's kind of dangerous. These guys love a good puggy style, let's be honest about it, and we know how explosive OpTic can be, especially on train, so gotta be a little careful. Pex will find NAF in the end, so he doesn't even get away with the scout. And that's a little bit of an issue, as their money is in ruins. Now, you know, at the end of the day, you're always going to be in this position either way, even if you did get a kill there or even kept it alive. Your money was always going to be trashed here. So, 2-0 so far to Chiefs. Good beginning, well handled. Don't look, nervous. Don't look worried. They're handling business at the moment.
That was the big thing that we saw to them yesterday is they weren't scared at all. They weren't intimidated by that matchup. And early on in these first 2 rounds, it's looking much the same, hitting some very, very nice shots. You know, I talked to the Chiefs coach a little bit earlier today, and he felt very confidently that this was going to be a win for them. So getting started at least on the right foot. That nade doesn't do any damage, unfortunately. But it's only Glocks, 1 P250. They do have some smokes, but this is going to be desperate for the plant. Nades and Molotovs into the bomb site are going to be deadly.
Yeah, Malta already considering a quick play-up pop as well. He's just at the very foot of it. You can see him just waiting for this. And to be fair, OpTic might come back down and take a little bit of a fight on this again, though the bomb's still by those brown halls. Not yet truly committed. There's the bait coming out from OpTic, just trying to toy with them. But, at this point, if you're OpTic, you're expecting at best a plant. Not much more. That's what you're hoping for here, and they might just get it. We'll see how much Chiefs want to deny it at this point. Smoke goes down towards the lower side of things. Tarek might have to run the gauntlet and upper, keep Pex's eyes trained towards it, allow the 4 to make it down through the ramp, but Here we go, it's about go time now. There's the first bit of contact. Pex will find Tarek. In's going to follow up towards Mixwell and Rush, and this is looking very nice. But the bomb in the hands of Naf, I'm not sure if... Yeah, he might just get the plant out of this.
Oh, he does. That's
very nice.
Yeah, that's sick. Right on top of the Molotov as well. It doesn't extend. I mean, good thing to note as well. Inns was the player yesterday against Renegades who had a monstrous first half. I think he had like something like 25 kills in that first half alone. Very poised in this 3 kills he gets here. Quick headshot there and just recovering. He knows he's out in the open. He just stays calm and just keeping the bursting up. That's good stuff from him. AWP out is going to be on Alistair. Mixwell, he can go for one himself, and he is. It's going to be Glass Cannon. He has got to smoke with it. But this is where the test starts to come out for this Chief side.
Yeah, we know OpTic can play this map, and they play it very well. We got to see that firsthand, and they had a little bit of a free reign, I guess, against Vici. I think it was previously, so it wasn't the biggest of challenges for them. In theory, we saw that maybe Train wasn't a great map for Vici in an international level, but at this point, Chiefs now face a bit of a challenge. Now, OpTic taking their time, probably fully aware that Chiefs do like to get a little bit aggressive, find that information eventually, and at this point, OpTic aren't in any particular hurry. They've got great utility to play with. They've got everything they need to create that peace down the line. So at this point, it's a slow start. Be cautious, be careful, and hope to reap the benefits later on.
This is going to be, I mean, we saw it last night as well, Chiefs liking to get into ladder room, so that'll be pretty critical for OpTic to be able to stop. Good flashbang forces Inns away. No smoke, but a Molotov on him. He can delay if he chooses to. No real movement whatsoever. Looks like OpTic kind of want to take advantage of seeing Tux perhaps peek down that alley. See if they can find a player from the Chief side of things getting a little bit too confident. Molotov is going to slow things down, but now they can push up Ivy. Bomb still dropped. They've got control of box halls with 2-player. 40 seconds on the clock. Haven't gained a whole lot of map control, but they certainly know there's no aggression anywhere on the map.
Oh, let's see what they do with it now. Pex is still in a decent spot. He might get caught out here, just backing away. He does. That's unfortunate timing, but maybe a little hap-handed. Double molly goes in towards Connector, denies Alistair any of the peek, and he just goes for it anyway, and they're just barreling through this. 2 players getting so much ground gained over by B. The bomb can get free access towards this, and playing back into it is going to be tough.
That's the danger of the inner bomb site. That's why it's such a difficult spot to play. I mean, just one mistake, one missed timing, just one portion where you leave yourself out in the open, and Pex does it there. It opens everything up. Chiefs have to save, and Hayes isn't letting it happen. They have control of the outer bomb site. 2 players on the flank. There's Malta. I mean, it's just grab this AK and run. They're going to go for it, though, it seems.
I'm not sure if they can be aware of this.
I think they're just trying to get guns at the end here.
Yeah, and they've already lost out on Malta there, so that's the rifle gone. And
Mixwell would be a big find if Tux can time this properly, and he does. Oh, he's not able to get the kill, though. Hate to see that.
It's like the config flashbacks,
It's like
it's always the free shots always seem the hardest.
It's the same feeling as like the nails on a chalkboard. It's just like really awkward.
You're just out there staring like, why is this happening to me? Just how did one of those shots not just help me out? Why are you like this game? But it is what it is. So they don't actually get anything out of that one, Chiefs, and you can see the money's gone into kind of the red.
Nade stack for Team Mid. They're gonna see if there's possibly a rush, and yeah, here they come.
Well, this could be fun for you. Does get taken down to 20, but he did find one as he took the damage. Rush is there instantly to provide support and assistance towards the others. Now, outside of that little bit of damage towards Mixwell, they don't have much ground to work with here. Hayes already going to push through towards Inns, and it's looking quite a, the clean slate thus far. Hudson does find Tarek, but the others are low. But Pex would have to dig deep beyond a level we've seen before, so they keep 4 alive.
A decent amount of damage done, though, that nade stack. Unfortunately, if that takes out Mixwell, maybe they can get something going from there. But unfortunately, OpTic still stays aggressive. So 2 rounds for the OpTic side of things. Chief go for a quick save. They're going to have the op back in their hands. They have 3 M4s as well. Plenty of utility in this. They just have to be very careful. OpTic is not going to be like we saw Renegades. I mean, Alza mentioned in that interview they have to stop playing scared. Well, OpTic's not going to do that whatsoever.
Yeah, you're going to have to force them into it somehow, and I don't see it happening. Not with this beginning yet. Chiefs have to make their impression happen into these gun rounds. They're back on the buy. Inns, though, loves to play this so aggressively. This time he's not taking the active fights, I guess, but he's pretty up close, and Tux is there with him, so curious to see if they actually take a bit of a swing out on this one. Inns is so aggressive at taking these. Kind of surprisingly so, and how successfully he was in the previous matches doing so.
Well, he's got Tux to at least bait for him, so that presence of Tux maybe could prevent Hazed and Rush to not check this position as they come down, but actually they're leaving Rush here, so this could be a mid-round information gather for Inns. He's in kind of the position to kind of try and find some kind of a timing push. Unfortunately, Rush is staying there, so that could just put a stop to it right off the bat. Naf with 1 kill. That's Malta in the ladder room. Couple times you've now seen Chiefs. That might prompt Inns forward over towards Ivy. But look at the aggression. I mean, these aren't even set executes. These are just probing different areas on the map, and Chiefs is falling into the trap.
Yeah, already finding Malta is a nice benefit, but anymore. Might just be the round secure at this point. Rush still selling a bit of presence here over by Ivy. In's yet to really kind of bite on the bait, I guess, trying to play out the time, let it play to his favor, and these two are right next to each other down on Ivy. Pex alone at B, and this is probably going to be an A hit coming now. We already got players out by Electric Box, and sadly for Chiefs, they have no info on this, but the game changer could be right about now. Ins does find Rush, but it might be for nothing if they don't find a follow-up. They're already cut out from this site.
Yeah, timing is a bit unfortunate, and yeah, I mean, just look at these duels that they're going to take. This is way too much ground being given up to OpTic. This is just what happens. I mean, players are allowed to walk out mid unscathed, uninformed of what's happening, and just control that outer train yard. Now it's again in a situation where Ins and Pex, all they can really do is go for some exit kills, try and get some guns as they depart. Another good round from OpTic, probing all over the map, finding one kill and just exploiting the weaknesses. That's also the issue kind of with Ins in that position. If he's not going to make a play earlier in the round, he just has nothing to do. He's not providing anything if he's not getting aggressive. A pop flash from Tux maybe to clear things out in the mid-round could have helped.
Bit of a shame, but you know, if you're coming into this map against OpTic, you kind of need to be aware this is a very much a possibility. So if you're Chiefs, you've got to hope they prepared something, you know, in the back burner for how they intend to handle it. Now he's going to find one on the way out, but instantly traded out, so unable to keep the gun, but finds an exit. Now next up is Pex, and not going to have much luck either. Clean stuff coming from OpTic now, taking back control of this game and finding their footing here after that first pistol round sort of bout went down very favorably towards the Chiefs. It seems to have stabilized here into a far more normal-looking game, at least for now. I do wonder what Chiefs have coming up as their response, and they need to find it fast.
I think they get aggressive. I think you can't allow, especially in the middle portions of the round. I mean, obviously you want to nade and you want to smoke out the choke points early, but get up into some more advanced positions that don't let OpTic just walk out of mid like they previously did in the round. You're giving guys like Rush and Tarek too much room. This could be a feeding gallery. Rush has one, but he swings out a bit too wide. Now he cannot go for the repeat, but he's got plenty of reinforcements. Hazed and Naf are here. Rush does fall, but they know where the remaining players are, and it's not going to matter a whole lot.
Oh, Molly, is it going to spread far enough? I don't think it will. Pex is safe. Ah, that one's good.
Hey, yeah.
That'll do it. Also now it's just like, I'll go here too. No one expected another time, but is going to be found by Naf in the end. So a decent round coming in. Now I hope this is a pause from Chiefs to discuss the incoming gun round. Now, as you said, you theorized that maybe getting aggressive, I guess playing OpTic at their own game here, taking the fights, not giving up the same amount of ground they did in that last big gun round.
The tough part is they're going to have to manage. Mixwell has now done a couple different things. He's picked out T-mid, he's picked out the box halls as well with that AWP, so you're going to have to kind of make a little bit of a guess on where he's going to be, and that involves, you know, pre-nading, pre-flashing that mid choke point so he can't be in it, but you want to stay in those choke points because the first round that Chiefs loses is just two players from OpTic walking out upper getting a kill. The next round, it's a couple players walking out mid, and there's no one there to challenge. I mean, this is just too passive of a setup in the middle portions of the round from the Chiefs side of things, where they don't have knowledge of what's coming, and they're not really challenging any of the choke points. So you can't give that much room over to OpTic.
And they were good at this before, though, Chiefs. On their CT side, we saw that B push before from them, pushing up towards the brown halls, or the box halls, however you like to refer to it as. It worked. It worked very well for them, but I guess it's a different mental beast when you come against OpTic, who individually, they're very skilled players, and it looks like a response here actually coming out from OpTic just to switch up the pace themselves. Mixwell already heading out towards that Olaf spot, but here's that B play that we're maybe considering could be an option. And I wonder if OpTic have in the back of their minds that this could be their answer to that time. Okay. Ooh, did Alistair just tag Pex?
That's some nerves, and then he falls after that, so the TK turns into a death as Alistair goes for a repeat, and the shot obviously gives away his position as well. Now, Pex is brought down to about 55. OpTic don't have to pressure this, but again, Rush is just going to be a little bit confident, peering out. Yeah, they're really pressuring as a B hit.
And they're not going B. It's beautiful. It's going to give Chiefs, you know, amongst all that mayhem, the calls going out, oh, the smoke B, but they're actually just hitting straight on towards A. Now, Tux has got himself a good position, taking a bit of a straight-up fight on that towards Mixwell, and he's going to win it out. He follows up well towards Hayes, too. That's a 3v2 now. Rush and Tarek, the bomb's in a bit of a precarious spot as well. They have to commit towards this one, and now he's just lost his last standing buddy. Tarek has to find a way back into this. There's two players alive. If he can get two 1v1s, it becomes possible, but he's got 47 seconds. Both are a little low on HP, and they don't have a kit either. That may not even be a factor into this, though, as Tarek encroaches towards the site.
He's got time on his side. Malta's watching this, though, and Tarek just a little bit off. But yeah, great recovery. Tux with 2 kills really helps out. Gets Malta in that position to get 2 more. Because that looked like OpTic had him beat with the pressure of the B hit after the pick. All the rotations were there. So much fire around the bomb train as well when they eventually did swing outside and just barely holding on as Chiefs. Still, 3 deaths is going to force a lot of rebuys. The money is not going to be good on the Chief side of things. So OpTic, they've got plenty in the bank. So chance here, and this looks like, again, it's going to be that mid push. This time it's 3 players. They're not going to stop. They're going to go all the way to the stairs. There's only one OpTic player here to challenge it, and he's not ready. That's Tarek. He throws the Molotov, but he gets out. The mobility, his movement lets him survive.
And Chiefs, on the other hand, completely flounder then. They kind of run into each other, trying to back away, someone trying to get in there, and it just kind of falls to pieces. And Mixwell punishes it further. Opener begins towards Ivy.
Those were the peaks that weren't getting punished by Renegades. Now, Malta gets one more. We saw him have a really good time. He's on the bomb train. He's going to fall eventually, overexposed. So does Tux. Inns is the next man up, and he had a stellar game yesterday, but he needs to do so much right now. Smoke to try and delay. His teammates here in Connector, but they're just bombarding him with nades. Bullets streaming through as well. OpTic just swarmed the bomb site.
The pressure they bring, it's almost insurmountable. OpTic, once they actually get into these sites, once they begin that hit, especially towards A, towards the outer side, it's so hard to deal with. I don't think we've seen a team yet really kind of rise to the occasion. I think there are teams here who can definitely do it, but I'm not sure if Chiefs are one of them. That is very, very impressive, and it's so hard to kind of manage when there's that many people in that many positions just barreling down at you. Now, Rush maybe going straight through, and it looks like, again, we're seeing the speed presence. And this time, if they commit to it, they might just get it done. But Tarek, you know, he's a slippery little sucker, but he does get found this time. The CZ is just too strong.
Yeah, they've actually even boosted one up. He's pushing all the way down. Naf's going to be prepared for that, though. Nicely done holding on. The Molotov's going to stop any more pressure from that angle. He's got to be careful. They already have the outer bomb site. The presence of 2 Chiefs players over towards Ivy, though. Mixwell's going to sniff it out. That's easy. Nothing really recovered as well as just a MAC-10 on Tarek. Yeah, this is a nice containment from OpTic, and that's 3 rounds now where they've actually pushed that inner bomb site, and that's why you see Tarek playing it so passively. I don't think that aggression towards the inner bomb site is going to work too well for Chiefs moving forward.
No, it's a little unfortunate how it went. Well, it wasn't even the first time they did it, I guess, but it was when the AWP was there, and they kind of got the, they tagged the teammate, and then, they had the bit of a little bit of a floundering, but then Tarek escaped. It all went a little bit. It's gone a little awry at this point, but still. I wonder if Chiefs can find maybe another way back into this. It's kind of hard to keep feeling like you need to dig this deep for new ways to approach it, but it's been Naf so far who's been seemingly having the good game for OpTic. Outside of him, Tarek before as mentioned. But everyone seems to do their job just fine for OpTic. They're having a good game across the board, and that's always a nice feeling. At the moment, still quite a close game here, though, scoreline-wise, but consider Chiefs did do well on the pistol.
Oh, and they invested into this round because of the double save, the reset scenario they were in, so it's going to be another round of just pistols where, they have nothing to really challenge into this one, so they have to let that losing bonus build up a little bit deeper. So OpTic is going to be able to widen the margin a bit more, and now, the scary part is they're also building up a huge bank. Naf has $14,000, Hayes is at about $11,000, Mixwell at $9,500. This is a situation where it's going to take 2 to 3, or 3 to 4 even wins for Chiefs to be able to break this economy at this stage.
Yeah, they need a couple more on the board, and you feel that maybe they can stand a chance on that T side. We didn't actually get to see much of it, to be completely honest.
Not much at all, actually.
No, so it looks like they're going to try and be aggressive elsewhere, and OpTic aren't anywhere near that. They might get caught out playing back into it, but the 4 players down Ivy have kind of gone away. So there's 2 coming back in towards A right about now, and the other 2 maybe split around the side looking for exits. And a little bit of a boost above. Ian's going to be looking up top, and you can see above this box. You can get on top of it too, but Tarek's not going to let that happen. Keep a control down this side of things, and Chiefs running out of options.
Yeah, and everyone on the OpTic side of things just prepared for the flanks that are coming in. It's interesting that we talk about the T side of Chiefs because, yeah, we didn't get to see a whole lot of it. But remembering the first gun round they had, and this could have been just the fact that they were so far ahead, was just like a straight outside rush that got demolished. For the little that we did see, maybe the 3 gun rounds that we saw didn't really seem to have a whole lot of substance to it. Now, like I said, the margin was so wide from a 15-0 half that maybe they just didn't want to show anything. But still, you've got to be worried for him here. Yeah. And a tactical pause from Chiefs as well, because they know this is the round they have to get back on the board. It has been 7 of the last 8 rounds won by OpTic. Or 7 of 8, sorry. Phrased that incorrectly.
It's fine. It's all good. Now, I guess it's a good thing if you still have Hayes there. He's still doing the coaching. You can still see him there being the most vocal, of course, and you get to have him with the direct input from being in the game. It's not a bad thing to be able to have all the kind of feels of I guess you feel a game differently when you're in the server playing yourself to necessarily being a coach standing behind. So it's not a bad thing.
It is kind of funny because there's that whole like CLG family that they had, the original CLG lineup that had Hayes, that had Tarek in it, and it's all like come back because FNS rejoined CLG in a leadership role and they're playing better. Hayes is someone that comes in as a coach now for his old teammate in CLG, Tarek, who obviously feels very comfortable with him in that leadership role. So, I mean, they've all kind of stuck together, and at the moment, just in a stand-in position, Hayes is playing, pretty admirably, all things considered.
Yeah, and so far it's sitting very nicely with OpTic. See if it continues. Thus far, we know that they can play Train, and they're pretty good at it. Beyond that, we're going to find out. At the moment, the aggression from Chiefs is going to keep this round relatively in check. Ooh, until then, nice timing from Hayes to support on the play, and again follows up so well. I don't know if he actually saw Tux or just the Tracer gave it away, but whatever it was, he did the job just fine. Now, Alster and Pex could have done something, but it feels they're just outnumbered and outgunned, but Pex is putting up a fight finally from the A-bomb. Bomb's still down by Ivy, and Nav's just walked right on past it.
There's the duel as well, and Naf is just going to easily win that one. Pex, not sure where he was going to face, and he wasn't prepared for that. And yeah, I mean, this is all Hayes. A little bit unfortunate on the timing of the smoke dissipating as well for Inns. And yeah, Hayes, he spots him right at the last second before that smoke plume. So beautiful entries from him, just as we say his name and talk about his impact in this team. He shows it there. 5 nades again for the Chiefs side. Last time this was done, it was a nade stack towards that mid connector, trying to pick off Mixwell. Brought him down to 20 HP. This time again, it looks like it's going to be much the same. This has an opportunity to do some real damage, but Tarek eats most of them. Naf's already made his way by it, but he's dropped by Inns.
Oh, this is good. Now, it does mean that, OpTic could just probably speed up towards B. If anything, they already have the bomb out there, so Connect is being watched by Mixwell. It looks like the checklist is just being worked through by OpTic at the moment. They seem just so well-rounded so far.
I mean, it's a good call as well. Obviously, when you hear 4 nades blowing up in teammate, you know there's people outside. And the big detail as well, not smoking down that lower ramp. You have the AWP of Mixwell. Just let him cover people trying to rotate over. That's an easy shot for an opper.
Yeah.
Hazed as well, the presence of mind to keep looking behind them as well, because a quick flank going to come up ladder could have ruined their day, but he stops that from occurring. So just a lot of small details that OpTic doing very well.
And you've got a feeling that this was always going to be a possibility and quite a big factor. Chiefs, they took a gamble coming into this. I guess it was off the back of our win against Renegades. I guess you feel good. You kind of go off the feelings that you're having as a team. That's not going to get one on the way out, but if you walk into a map against a favored team on a favored map towards them as well, it's going to be tough no matter what, but you've got to have a plan in mind, and so far it's not been going so well for them. Another opportunity here, though, could come through, and we finally see the AWP coming back out for Alistair. Not had the biggest impact yet. He's been a little neutered in comparison to what we saw last time around, which is a bit of a shame, but he's just been locked out, it feels, of this entire game, but still, OpTic right back into it. Money is perfect for them. They're in a lovely spot here. Complete control of the game thus far.
And there's another pick from Mixwell and Team Mid. That's the Opera of Alistair this time. Instead of trying to block off the choke when he goes for the duel, he pays for it. And actually, OpTic completely readjusting. Now it looks like everyone's heading towards that inner bomb site. One player, that's going to be Rush, just sitting at the back of Ivy. He can turn into a late flank. That can be deadly. It's going to be Inns there with the AWP. Molotov's going to force him away. Standing in the flames for one shot, not going to pan out. And here it is, just walking down lower ramp again. Not really giving up that this is what's coming in. Pex misses the initial shot. Now he's under so much pressure. He's got to stay alive here. That's a big fight to win, and he does it. Naf now, he's the next one up, but it's too much, and the op from Mixwell rings true again.
But Inns finding one back gives them a small window of chance here if they can maybe make this happen. Bearing in mind how far away Rush is, they don't know that though. Mixwell's still on the site and he can stop this before it really begins, but finally the backup has arrived. Rush gets straight there and instantly helps out. That's the impact you needed, and now Inns is very, very alone. And he's certainly feeling it in this 1v2. Mixwell still on the bomb. Rush off to the right, and well, pick your poison at this point, Inns. You're not going to be able to get away either, I can imagine. They're not going to let you. So here we go. Inns goes around for it. Does get down Mixwell, and actually maybe he can do something here. Ooh, maybe not.
He had the angle. I don't know if he had a kit, though. I don't recall. But either way, it's a 10th round for OpTic. They have not slowed down whatsoever. Now 6 straight for them, and Chiefs has just been stumped. This CT side is... they haven't been able to stop anything, essentially, since OpTic really got on a run. I mean, the fast tactics have worked out well. Slow tactics have worked out. Mixwell's getting picks when they do those. So
Double up T side.
That's kind of the idea. Yeah, well, part of it, too, is... Chiefs haven't really... None of their aggression has worked that we saw against Renegades. Those inner pushes didn't really do anything, and now, I mean, OpTic's just eating them up outside.
Yeah, this is... it's a confident display, let's say, from OpTic. They haven't been tamed, they haven't been, I guess, handled in any way, shape, or form, so they've just kind of run with it, and you can't blame them. It's worked so nicely. Now, Tuck's going to try and isolate off, or at least cut off a couple of the players coming out through Pop, but it does mean that Alistair does get a pick towards Tarek. That's a bit of an answer back, finally, but there's still 2 AWPs up, and Mixwell has somehow managed to make his way out here. That's a problem, especially now. Alistair, and follow-up towards Malta, that's big. And now, well, you're in a 4v1, you haven't even touched the bomb yet, and it's all going your way.
Yeah, this has just been OpTic taking advantage of some of the inexperience here. Just such talented players, and now this is the trap that Chad was speaking about that they fell into, thinking that they could handle it on train, and OpTic just showing they're at a much, much better quality. 11-4 is the score of the first half. When we return, we'll see if Chiefs can come back on their own T side.
At 11-4, OpTic Gaming do not look phased thus far by Chiefs, who seem to have had a great performance on train leading into this one, but they just don't seem to be able to handle this North American side.
No, and a lot of the things that they were getting away with yesterday against the Renegades, some of the peeks down Ivy that they weren't using flashbangs for, they get punished way more harshly by OpTic in this
Stop
one.
stealing Chad's tweets.
Wasn't it? I rephrased
At least
it.
credit him.
I rephrased it.
Disgusting. Poor sponge.
I've given Chad a lot of credit on the things he said today.
He's a unique character, isn't he?
Yes. Well, this is where it gets interesting, because the T side of Chiefs was extremely untested yesterday, and they didn't really have to even bust out anything on the back of a 15-0 first half to get that one-round win. So we'll be interested to see what they're going to go with here. An inside execute, smoke 2 flashes on Tux. He's lined up, but there's 3 players inside for OpTic.
Why do I feel like OpTic know this is about to happen?
Yeah,
They've got nades ready, and this could be an absolute brutal start to things. Now, already going to find Inns. That's a great addition. The flank coming down from Ivy is with Malta, so keep that in the back of your minds. But right now, the bomb is being planted, and all right, Haste is still here. No one's actually gone down yet for OpTic. Finally, Mixwell does fall, but there's so many bodies on this side, and look how low Chiefs are. They're holding on to this by the thinnest of margins, but that might just be enough until now. Naf finally takes an active fight, but he does only get 1 for 1, And now we're in this 2v1, and Tux has to fight back to the wall. He's not going to manage it. Tarek is there and gets the job done. Rush has a kit. And, well, I've got to say it, from the very start of that round, it felt like OpTic had just such a good read.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, I'm not sure what they saw that made them, maybe a little bit of research, maybe just a little bit of a gamble, but obviously never feeling any pressure outside to make them rotate. 3 players inside, and I mean, Hayes does such a good job. I don't even think he gets really any kills, just staying alive. The nades did so much damage on lower ramp, and just kind of chipping away at him, and they never let Chiefs really progress into that bomb site and get comfortable in a post plant. So huge. Chiefs lost the pistol round yesterday, and now with this kind of a score line, you know, the tables are reversed. They just have to go for a buy here.
Nice fast flashes. They're going to allow the Chiefs to at least get down towards Olaf, but now you're going to see the response. Instantly, OpTic want to get back into this mix. Well, nice little underhand nade. Doesn't quite do the damage required, but it does keep them at bay. Max 7 looking to do any damage he can, but Naf is there first and foremostly, and Inns is the first to fall to his hands, and this is a very swift pickup here. OpTic not losing a single player. The green wall looks completely unscathed.
Yeah, now the only option for Chiefs is, I mean, no plants in that round as well. They just have to save this round and go for the AKs in the next one. See if they can perform some kind of a miracle, but it's not looking likely. Should be a pretty easy mop-up this round for OpTic. This whole game has just been suffocating outside of the early portions of that first half.
The thing is, you look at the Chiefs as well, the problem being with this entire matchup, at least in my eyes, is the fact that the rounds are actually set on the board. It may not look too one-sided, it is still one-sided, but the fact is they got that from a pistol round, basically. So right. you kind of have to like look past it and look at the gun round to see how it's gone, and it's going about as well as this round. Malta looking for the bomb plant, not going to get it. He does get the kill towards Naf, but instantly traded out. And OpTic are just playing however they want to. They've had complete free reign here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Chiefs was doing yesterday against Renegades. Was just they were so aggressively taking every single fight, and there's nothing that Chiefs can do to really stop it. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's when it starts to just kind of look a little bit bad, right? Is now it's just gotten out of control to the point where OpTic's like, yeah, we just know we're better in this game.
Now let's bear in mind, this is the team, OpTic, that took North into like obscene amounts of OT. They lost out in a very thin margin. And then, thus, you know, beyond that, they've looked pretty good. Yes, you could say they've played maybe less teams that aren't exactly meant to be challenging them to the highest ability, but they've really risen to the occasion. And Mixwell, this could be horrific for Chiefs if they don't realize this. They do turn in time. Tux just considered. You can see the smile on his face. If he got away with that, he was just grinning ear to ear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he even had a chance if he just went up. I think that flashbang through the window is what gave it away. That's where Tux was like, flashbangs aren't normally thrown here, so he turns around. And it did seem like Mixo was being pretty slow in deciding where he wanted to go exactly.
Yeah.
But obviously, feeling confident is OpTic if they're willing to risk plays like that.
You're at 14-4. I guess you can risk certain things. Both these teams have had this sort of feeling, whereas you got those one-sided scorelines, you can get a little creative. And the rest of OpTic just playing quite up close here, at least towards the outer side of things. It's going to find Tarek, so that's a nice opportunity. This could actually start working out for Chiefs. We get a gun round on the board. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. We're going to find out now, as it looks like Rush is the next to take a fight. Nice little movement off the ladder there, baits him in, and then gets the fight. So it's traded out eventually, but this so far is looking okay for Chiefs.
That was awkward for Rush. Hayes here, good positioning. Oh, he can't win that. In somehow spins. He's been dropped by Naf. It's a good trade, and there's one more. Alistair caught out in the open. It's a one-on-one. It's all on Pex, and he can't do it. Naf is having a great game. Quietly, we haven't really brought it up a whole lot, but he's got 27 kills, 8 deaths.
Spicy meatball play. Just look at that.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to at least put the accent on it.
What accent?
Italian accent.
Just give me an example.
You're not going to lure me into that
Come
one,
on.
Martin. That's not going to happen.
Don't kitten out of this one.
It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
And speaking of full circle, we are at 15-4 now, with that round going favorably towards, well, Naf pretty much. Let's ignore the rest of the team. He just did it all himself. It does put them in towards that map and match position. Mixwell going to find Tux already. And it looks like OpTic haven't even had to show us a full showing of what they can achieve on the CT side, finding a little bit of aggression towards B. It works out beautifully, 2 kills for them. Now leaving Chiefs reeling with merely 3 players standing, and they're not in particularly any positions of power.
Yeah, Mixwell just outclassing with the AWP in this game. Has never really had any kind of challenge up to him. Ends with the Deagle, trying to make something happen. Rush is going to be the next person up. He had the angle, but just a little bit late. Couldn't land the shot. 5-on-2, and it's looking like Chiefs, they're going to drop down to 1-2 on the group stage in the Swiss system. Not able to pull this one out. It was a long shot against Renegades. It was a long shot here, and OpTic was not going to fall prey to it.
No, they have put up a good display. I think Train, just at its core, probably not their best idea coming into this, but they felt confident. And sometimes you just got to go with that gut feeling, but it doesn't always go well. And Alistair Now is a 1v5. Players left, right, and center. It'll be Rush to put him out of his misery, and there it is. OpTic Gaming do manage to win this one out. They looked pretty unchallenged, I've got to say. These guys might be a bit of a dark horse here to cause some upsets later down the line.
Yeah, they definitely could be. They have the pedigree, they have the players for it. Rush having, I mean, everyone just playing solid, but I mean, behind Mixwell, Rush, and if Tarek has some of those good games, they should be able to be a dangerous force as we continue.
Yeah, a bit of a scary prospect, but after the break, we'll be back, and we'll be with the announcers desk.